Yo, you know the deal. You nothing changed. Judah Ben. Yo. Here we go again to open up the show again. Suckers want to copy, so they try to wonder where we been. It's Thomas from the Bronx talking boxing, football and baseball and sometimes wrestling. Plus he all about the dough like Fosse. You might even catch him live, be on IG. You know he still rock with sock, even when the whole block is hot. Chillin' in the cut like a doc. A lot of cowards, they act fake in a spot like they taking a spot, but imitators a pop. Tommy dropping out gems like a treasure chest. Every other week you might catch him with a special guest. Like the champ Keith Cologne, he's a regular. Took pics with Bud, so you better show him love. BVO and D-Free playing safety. They blocking all nonsense. Sonny, change your conscience. Yo. You already know the deal. Judah Ben. Tell a friend to tell a friend, son. Tommy from the Bronx. BVO, D-Free, Socrates in the spot. East St. Louis.
We are back, baby. We are fucking back. We're back. Classic. We are back. We are back.
We are back. That's your line, D-Free. What's good?
What's good? We are back.
Yo, what is good? My man Marky Dan is with us today, man. Marky Dan, 1, 2, 3. What is good? What's good with everybody this week, man? How's everybody's weekend is going so far?
Salutes. It's great. It's great.
Okay.
Happy Mother's Day to everybody who still got their mothers with them, man. Happy Mother's Day. I got something really nice planned for my mother tomorrow.
Nice. That's what's up. Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
Happy
because we got
Mother's
the Grenadian boy Dubois in the ring coming for his second heavyweight title. I'm about to have the family ready. We about to sit out. We got food ready, chopped cheese time, and we're gonna watch the guy put on for the home team.
Yeah. We got. It's coming up soon in a few hours. That fight will begin. Salute to everybody coming through. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Hope you are enjoying your weekend. Hopefully, everybody that is not watching that isn't a mother, meaning the male counterparts, sons, husbands, nephews, nieces. Hopefully, you guys are treating your moms well this weekend. And, wishing everybody well. Salute to everybody in the building so far early. This is a pop-up live. I wanted to go live yesterday, but didn't get around to it. So we're going to go live today. Got a bunch of things I want to talk about today. I don't know if we're going to get it all in. I got my counterparts here, and I got you guys in the chat.
Yes, sir.
Salute. Teachers in the building. Salute to my Bronx brother right there. My man Teachers in the building. And as you come through, I'll try to shout you out and salute you as well. But the title of this one is inconsistent boxing media. I was gonna, put something about, Ra'eese Aleem missing weight and then Devin Haney's 100 million. But I feel like this is a better topic because I've been seeing, because of the topics that I had, I think there's a lot of false information being put out there. And a lot of people putting jackets on other content creators, which is not cool. And I've seen it. And we're going to talk about it today. I'm going to go into it. If you feel any type of way from my opinions or whatever I'm about to say, then do something about it. That's just straight up and down, right?
Damn.
Because people like to question my integrity as far as what a journalist is supposed to do. I'm not a journalist. I'm just a content creator that actually goes out and does journalistic work, right? Because I've actually met fighters and interviewed fighters and met, managers and interviewed managers. You know what I'm saying? I've actually done that work, but that's not my job. But feel free to criticize me if you want and continue and calling me out and talking about my integrity, because my integrity is pretty good. While some of you guys out here questioning it don't know what the fuck you talking about. So we're gonna drop the F bomb real early because I've been seeing some I've been watching these channels, and it's one thing to have an opinion, right? I think that's what most content creators do, is have their opinions, and they try to base it on the facts and based on the research they find, right? And sometimes everybody's opinion is not going to fit well with you. That's fine. But I think we should respect it in some type of way, unless you're trying to spin and put out, false narratives, right? I think that's where the problem, exists. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of that is out here in these YouTube streets, and I just don't like it. And we're going to talk about it. I'm going to ask questions, to my co-host here today, and they're going to give their opinions as well, and we're going to get into it. So first things first, I want to let's talk about the top thing right now. $100 million, Zuffa, Devin Haney, right? This was reported by his father himself, his promoter, his manager, his father. He's the one that put it out there. So nobody put it out there other than him. Then after that, content creators and journalists alike have went and responded with their opinions and stuff. Nothing's actually been, from what I've seen, and people could correct me if I'm wrong, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong too, have been made official. Like when Berlanga and Hitchens signed, you saw a picture of them, with Dana White posting, sign with Zuffa, right? They didn't necessarily put the amounts, but I do know the amounts of one of the fighters, and we'll get into that later. But as far as I know, it's only been reported by Bill Haney, and everybody's been responding. So I'm going to lead off with my man D Free. What do you think of what Bill Haney said about this $100 million contract, with Zuffa for Devin Haney?
Well, I saw the tweet that he put out, and I saw a couple of people that mentioned it, but most of the people that reported of the $100 million, they didn't mention what he said in the tweet. He put it out there with question marks behind it, basically he was just speculating. He was trying to get the people to talk about it and talk about Devin Haney, keep Devin Haney's name out there. And that's exactly what he did. He achieved his goal, and to keep Devin Haney's name out there. I saw the interview that he did with Coach Malachi, and he never answered the question. Coach Malachi asked him a couple of times, is there a $100 million deal? Did he sign a $100 million deal? And Bill Haney would never answer that question. He jumped around. He alluded to certain things, but he never came out and said, yes, we signed a $100 million deal. So I don't think there's any $100 million deal. Like you said, we've seen reports of other guys signing, and Ring Magazine or somebody from the media, of that side of the media, have came out. Never saw anything about Devin Haney signing the Zuffa, let alone $100 million. So I just think it was something just to keep Devin Haney's name out there in the public, because a lot of people were speculating, what is Devin Haney going to do now that the Rolly fight is not on and everybody else is pretty much tied up? So everybody was trying to figure out what Devin Haney was going to do, and this was a way to keep Devin Haney's name in the loop, is by going out here putting that out there. And like I said, he never said that they actually got a deal. He just put it out there to keep people talking about Devin Haney. So I don't think there's a deal.
Yeah, I agree with D Free completely. I don't think, and not only that, I agree with Tommy. I haven't heard anything be confirmed, at least from the Zuffa side of things. None of that. I haven't heard from any other reporters stating that they have a source outside of Bill Haney stating that there's $100 million on the table for his son. So I don't like. I have a hard time believing it. And I agree. Like Bill does these things. He makes these statements to keep Devin Haney's name out there in the public. Like when he put out the 10 fighters on his hit list that they definitely gonna fight, and then some of those dudes are like 2 weight classes below them. So Bill, he's a character. You know, people usually have a lot of problems. Like, people have more problems with Bill Haney than they do Devin Haney because they feel like Bill talks too much. They feel like Bill caps a lot. That being said, the $100 million deal, it wouldn't necessarily be implausible if it was like a long term, 10 fight $100 million deal where Dev gets paid $10 million per fight. Maybe it might not be 10 million guaranteed. It might have some incentives and bonuses in there or whatever the case may be. And then you stretch it out for like 2 fights per year and it's a 5-year contract. Like that, I mean, it's not implausible, but I cannot confirm that I've heard anything like that. And I have a very hard time believing Bill Haney if he's the only like specific source that's saying this stuff. So I'll just say that.
Okay, very, very, very good points here, and I tend to agree with both of you. I did the way D Free put it before. I didn't really kind of look at it like that based on the question mark, and then Shower challenged that, not challenged it in a negative way, but she's saying that the question mark was more intense to him being the best promoter, best manager. I think it was. That's how I kind of took it too, but I didn't look at it the way D Free said it could be that too. Because everything is, you word things different. You word things in a way just to put things out there, and I think both guys, Marky Dan and D Free, you guys said the same thing. I kind of think as far as what Bill's doing, keeping his son's name relevant. I think that's good promotion. I think that's what a good manager, a good promoter does. But whether or not it's going to be true or not, that's the question. That's the question that everybody wants to know. And I truly don't think it's legit because there's nothing confirmed. Like I said early, when Berlanga and Hitchens signed, we did not know the dollar amount, right? But we seen a picture with Dana White, and it was confirmed that they're with Zuffa. Nothing has been confirmed yet with Devin Haney. Now, some people may look at this and say, "Yeah, man, we're a bunch of haters right now. Like, why they hating on Dev? Like why? Because he's making $100 million." For me, I can't speak for Marky Dan and D Free. For me, I'm not hating at all. I think if he did make $100 million plus, that's a great thing. Get your money. I think that's a beautiful thing. Listen, anybody that makes money in a sport that you could get severely hurt or maybe die in the ring, and you put your life on the line and you're going to get paid like that, I think that's a great thing. We've had fighters come up here, old fighters come up here and say the same thing. E.J. Smith is one I think of firsthand. He says it all the time. Get the money. Like when I did, after the Contender was out, they made good money off the Contender. So imagine a reality show now. It said, yeah, it's all about the money. He was one of the first ones that was okay with Tank Davis, getting the money he was going to get fighting Jake Paul. Yeah, in this sport, if you could get a big bag now and fighting a guy like Jake Paul, go ahead and do it. So, listen, I think it's a beautiful thing if it's true. My thing is it or is it not? I'm also going to say this. I don't think it's far-fetched. A lot of people think it's not realistic. I'm going to tell you why I think it's realistic, because I know what Berlanga is getting, right? I know what the amount Berlanga is getting in his contract. Berlanga's never won a world title. He's been in the main event a couple of times, and he's been in a high-profile fight. He made a lot of money with the Canelo fight. But in my opinion, I don't think he deserves the money that he's getting, right? But I'm happy that he's getting it. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, if a guy like Berlanga, who's fighting at super middleweight, maybe he'll go up to 175. I'm not sure which is division. So they honoring welterweights, middleweights, and then the next weight class would be 175. So 168 would probably not be a Zuffa weight, I don't think. But with that being said, not a champion, not a former champion, right? Getting paid what he's paid. I wouldn't think it's far-fetched of Devin getting $100 million contract, let's say. And like I said, I'm throwing numbers out there. I did this last night in a group chat, and I kind of got killed by, just because Bill Haney said under 30, I didn't pick up on that. But if a contract is guaranteed, I would count it. You feel me? So let's say if it was an 8-fight deal, right? An 8-fight deal, what's that, like around 13 million, right? I'm just throwing numbers out there off the top of my head. So I don't find it far-fetched in comparison to what Berlanga's making. So
let me ask you, Thomas, you said what Berlanga is getting. Is that per fight, or is that a multi-fight deal and it's over the contract, the length of the contract?
So the contract is a 5-fight deal, guaranteed a certain amount per fight with incentives, because
Okay,
Zuffa likes to do the incentives too. So the minimum, I know the minimum, right? And I'll tell you behind the scenes. So I know the minimum amount, what he could make minimum, but he could make a little bit more. And it's based on per fight, 5-fight deal is what he got. So that's what I'm saying. Like if Devin was to get 100 million, what if it was like an 8-fight deal that could equal?
But that's
million?
what I
no,
said. That's what I said, Tommy.
Yeah.
Because if it could be structured
no.
where it's a 10 fight deal, and then he does 2 fights per year, and it's a long-term 5-year, $100 million contract. Like, I think that's
But see,
plausible.
this is the
And
reason why
the 100 million might not be guaranteed. Like Tommy said, it could be like a lot of incentives based things in there and bonuses. Go ahead.
this is the reason why I don't believe it, and this is the main reason why I don't believe it, because if it is stretched out through a certain amount of fight, let's say it's stretched out through, let's say 8-9 fights. The thing about Devin Haney is he wants to be his own boss. Well, when you sign to Zuffa, you're not your own boss. You're going to do exactly what Zuffa says. He has no freedom. You don't have no freedom. Like when he was signed to Eddie Hearn, he was quote unquote, I don't know how true it is or whatever, but this is what was said. He was partners with Eddie Hearn. When he signed over to Top Rank, it was for a short period of time, and he was signed to Top Rank. He had to do what Top Rank said he had to do. And that was the thing. He wants to be his own boss. So that's why I don't believe it, because if you're going to get $100 million, let's say you get $100 million and it's for 10 fights, you're getting $10 million guaranteed, $10 million per fight. That means you got to do 10 fights that they say you got to do, not 10 fights that you pick out.
Yes, absolutely, and that's what we're going to touch up more real quick before I introduce my other guest. This is the actual quote. So there was a question mark on both parts. So Shower just confirmed that too, because I think he did. Yeah. So like D3, you're right. He put a question mark on both. What new deal worth over 100 million before 30 years old? Question mark. Who is your man? A question mark. So it's basically a question. So that was a very good point. I didn't pick up on that, like D3 said in the beginning. But we got another guest, another co-host on here, my main man from Cleveland, and he just jumped off. Wow, I was just gonna introduce BVO, and he jumps off. Ain't that a bitch? Trying to give him a good intro, because he calls me up and be like, yo, why you always hating on my guy, hating on me? But
that's how
I hear,
the Cleveland people
I
is,
hear what D3 is saying.
they
And
get
the
going.
Haneys, they were in a co-promotion deal with Eddie Hearn. They were kind of like independent, in a kind of way. Like they had Devin Haney promotions, but at the same time, it was still under the umbrella of Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. But also at the same time, the free market, it was great for them at that time when Matchroom came in with the Earn with Hearn format, and they had a lot of money coming in from the zone. But right now, if you look at the landscape free, there's nobody for Devin Haney to fight. And there's nobody for him to get a guaranteed bag with. And you said it yourself at least a couple streams ago. Turkey is only going to give him that last fight if it's somebody that Turkey is interested in giving him. So if and
No,
I hear what you're saying about his temperament, about wanting to be his own boss, but at the same time, if I've built a business and and somebody else likes the business I've built, and they're willing to offer me a certain dollar amount to buy the business and let them take over and do things maybe with my name on it, I'm cool with that. But it has to be for a number that I want. And if $100 million in three or 5 years and for 2 fights a year or whatever the case may be, I don't know what if this deal is even real. If Devin Haney, I think that would be plausible for Devin Haney to
no.
not submit, but for Devin Haney to sign under Zuffa and give up his
But
independence in that way for that amount of
see,
money.
this is the thing.
Because that's $100
You
million
said
for a boxer.
you said
That's
you
generational.
said
That's
there's
generational wealth. I mean, $10 million
but you
is
said there's
generational wealth by itself. But that amount of
but you
money,
said
and
that
then this kid, he's already made 24 million with Turkey, and even before the Turkey deal, he was making millions of dollars. I mean, it just makes sense to me. Like if I was in his position, I would do it. Let me say that.
But Marky, you said there's nowhere for Devin Haney to get guaranteed money. That's not
Because it
true.
seems like, and not
There
only that, I
is.
mean, it just seems like
Wait,
all
wait,
these
wait,
other
wait,
dudes, they don't want to
wait,
fight
Marky,
there.
one at a time.
Right? Oh, I can't hear Free. My bad. Go ahead.
You said there's no way for Devin Haney to get guaranteed money. That's not true. What the problem is, Devin Haney wants to get paid as a promoter. That's where the problem comes in. He don't want it. He wants to get paid as a fighter and a promoter. So when you're trying to get paid as a fighter and a promoter, you got to be willing to do the things that promoters are supposed to do for the fight. A fighter. There's a lot of fights that he can get with guaranteed money, but he wants to get paid as a promoter. That was the whole breakdown with the Rolly situation. He wants to get paid as a promoter, but not do the things that a promoter is supposed to do to put the fight on. That's where the problem came in at.
Real quick, let me answer this question. So, Opulent LD says, "Did you see it on paper what Berlanga is getting, or do you just believe who told you?" So, no, obviously, I didn't see it on paper. I believe on what the person told me because it was a casual conversation that I didn't even ask the question. I didn't even ask. We never even asked like what he's making. We was just talking casual, about what he's been doing and what's been going on, and then he brought it up. So it was brought up to me by the guy who works with Berlanga that told me that. So, and it was like through casual. So I believe him. But at the end of the day, and let's note this, and I say this a lot, we can only give the information that is given to us. You know what I'm saying? So we can't be called liars. And like that's part of the topic about media and reporting versus opinions, right? So this is not an opinion. This is just me reporting, sort of, because I don't really want to say the name on camera and the amount on camera.
You got your sources, Tommy, and I mean,
yeah.
feel
But
like
it's obviously it's a source. But that's what I'm saying. Some people, and like the source in the situation with the 100 million is based off Bill Haney's comment. Like he's the source. He's telling you, he's the guy, right? And he's the promoter, he's the manager, he's the father, right? So that's the source right there. But in this situation,
my thing is they wouldn't do that to Woj. Or they wouldn't do that to the NFL reporter, and respect the Opulent LD. Opulent LD is
no. He's
cool
not saying
brother.
it in a negative way.
Yeah.
He's
No.
just,
I know he's not necessarily questioning your credibility. I get where he's coming from, but like I feel like we wouldn't necessarily ask questions of ESPN's reporters like that. You know what I'm saying? Like
no, I get it.
If they came with a report, I would take the report seriously because they have a certain level of credibility, and you have that credibility with me, Tommy. Like I believe what you're saying.
And I would hope I have that with a lot of people because I've like this is my point and why I bring up. I've seen other channels where they criticize other people and say, "Oh, he's not a real journalist. He's a journalist, but he does bad work." Like motherfucker, like who the fuck have you interviewed? Who the fuck have you had on your panel? And that's what I'm saying. Like, and this person, right? I'm not gonna say his name, and he knows who he is, right? I'm not gonna say his name. Is that he questioned my integrity over a comment I made and a post that I made, and I'm like, who the fuck is you? So like nobody ever reveals their sources. I usually do, like in most cases. Like I try to do it as much as I can. In this situation, I can't because I haven't even had him on the show. I'd rather have the person on the show and maybe talk about it before I actually put it out there. You feel me? So, but like I've never lied to anybody. And whatever I get is based off the information I get from other people. So if they lie to me, that's a different thing. But these dudes, they come up here and they get like 20 people in their chats, rah, 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 and cheer, cheer, cheer. And they don't know what the fuck they talking about, bro. And that's what I'm saying. Like reporting versus opinions. Like we as content creators, most of the time we're giving our opinions. We're trying to break down fights. We're trying to say, who's ducking and not ducking, who's going to fight who, you know what I'm saying? This is just based off opinion and based off, our experience from watching the sport and just being around the sport. You feel me? But like, at the same time, you got guys that are content creators that never even been to a fight, bro. That never seen shit. And then they're the first ones to come up and question you. So like, no, I understand. I totally get what you're saying. I understand what Opera. He's definitely not saying it in a bad way. He just wants me just to, base it, put it out there so he knows for himself. You know what I'm saying? But like,
I can't.
Yeah, but I'm talking about other channels that do that and that they'll take this live and try to come at me, which they can't, bro. They really can't. All they can do is question it. But it's just a funny space that we're in. You know what I'm saying? It's a funny space that we're in this YouTube world.
when it comes to Bill, though, because Bill has stretched the truth. I'm not even going to say he lied because I would say he stretched the truth. Some of the stuff he said, it has some truth to it, but it's not exactly how he say it. So I think because he stretched the truth so much, you can't really take what Bill say as this is what's going on, because he stretch it so much to he make you say, okay, I can't believe you, because I know situations where I'm like, no, it didn't go down that way. You insinuating that it went down a certain way when it didn't go down that way. So that's why I'm like, I can't really fault anybody for not believing what Bill said, because he to manipulate people and manipulate words and say things where it sounds like he's saying this when he's really not saying anything. He wants the people to speculate, so he can come back and say, hey, well, I didn't say that. I just put it out there to say, hey, if this would have happened, this it is. Like, he'll say, oh, we're gonna fight this person, that person. And so when they fight one of them, he'd be like, well, I told you we was gonna fight it. Well, you told you were gonna fight 4 other people as well. You're not fighting them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I can't really fault anybody for not believing the tweet that Bill put out there, because I was in the same boat. I'm like, hold on, you put question marks behind it. That's like almost like clickbaiting. You put it out there just so you can get the people to talk about it.
Yeah, and I get it. And you know what I'm saying? I get it, because I see a lot of people do it. And listen, you're a content creator, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? What my problem is that when people come and question people like, me and other channels that actually, not necessarily being like a plug, but have the source or speak to these fighters, and got, valid information, you know what I'm saying? And you questioning my integrity. It's like, who is you? Like, I don't go out there and question your quick, clickbait material, or putting out false narratives about, somebody making all this money and signing a contract that hasn't taken place. Like I don't do that. I'm doing it now. I'm doing it now. I'm not but it's getting a little bit ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like the reason why I do this and I speak about this, because like I said, I don't come from a place of hate, right? Because if it all comes down that is true, I think that's a beautiful thing. I think that's great. You know what I'm saying? What happens after that, as far as like, what Marky Dan, I think, brought up, like, who is he going to fight? That's another topic. And then we'll see. I mean, there's Hitchens there. I think that's a really good fight. I think maybe a lot of people may not like it because they may not like the styles of Hitchens and Devin Haney. But to me, I think that's a pay-per-view fight for me.
No, but I'm saying, who's he gonna fight if he's not signed to Zuffa? That's why I'm saying. That's why I wanted
if
to know.
He's not signed.
Like, I think, yeah, because Free said, and I don't necessarily disagree with Free, but Free said that Devin Haney wants to be his own boss. But if he wants to stay independent, who's he gonna fight? So I think Zuffa is like his best route to get guaranteed money.
No, he can fight,
fights.
anybody. It's like I said, he can fight anybody as an independent fighter. It's the matter of, are you coming as a fighter or are you coming as a promoter? If you're coming as a promoter, then you got to do the things that a promoter does. If you're coming as a fighter, then we can make the fight easy. See that, and that's what people don't look at it that way. They look at, oh, don't nobody want to fight Devin. They don't know what's going behind closed doors. Devin is coming as a promoter, but he doesn't want to have the responsibility of a promoter for the fight. When you come as a promoter, there's certain things that you got to do for the fight. Well, if you're not trying to do that, then we can't pay you as a promoter. And that's what Eddie Hearn was talking about when he said we lost a lot of money on Devin because they was paying him as a promoter and a fighter. They was paying him both. So when you're paying them both and you're the only one that's doing all of the promotion, you're just giving away money to a person that's not doing their work. That's like me and you working at the same job. We both work the same work, but you're not working. You on break all day. I'm doing all the work, but the company's still paying you the same amount of money they paying me, but you're not doing any work. So the company's just losing money on you because you ain't working. I'm doing all the work.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Free. Yeah, he want to have that Devin Haney promotions on the billboard as well. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
And with that, like I always thought, like, why couldn't they just come up with their own promotion, even if it wasn't like a big pay-per-view event? They could have fought, like, you know, they could have fought. They could have made a card and headlined with freaking Haney versus, Tiger, or Haney versus Jack Catterall, like Shaw was.
I want to see that
They could
Haney
do that.
Tiger
They could
fight.
put Kevin Newman as a co-main event, right? Because they work with Kevin Newman. So, like, they could have come up with a small card, see how that does, and then move forward at that, because they've made good money, and they made enough money that they have their own promotion, and I would think they could promote their own event. But salute to my man Afila on the panel, man. Salute to you, man. Thanks for coming through, man. What you got on this?
And what it do, what you're saying, what it going, it's your favorite, yeah, your most hated odd fella. You know what I mean? Salute to everybody up on the panel. You in the dig, I hear y'all cooking on this whole Devin Haney situation, the Zuffa. I myself, I'm in belief that this is real smoke, but I won't go to the extent of saying that that I've popped champagne bottles yet. You know what I mean? Niggas be calling me Captain Zuffa. So me myself would be expected to be accepting Devin Haney with open arms, you know what I mean? And definitely smoking the celebratory blunts and popping the champagne and whatnot. But that's not going on over here yet, because like you said previously, we have yet to see Devin Haney with the quintessential picture with with Dana White, with the whack ass beat in the backdrop, with Dana White walking into the UFC studio and Devin Haney sitting there with the contract in front of you know what I mean, and the handshake going on. We've yet to see that yet. So until I see that, yeah, the champagne ain't getting popped yet. You know what I mean? But I do think there is smoke to the statements with the $100 million deal. To me, it's not out of the ordinary. If you think if it's maybe a 3-year deal, and there's 3 fights per year, and those fights are in and around $10 to $12 million, that adds up to $100 million, fellas. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So this ain't extra or extraordinary as some may feel. Devin Haney is already within a contract with Riyadh season. I believe he's on the last fight of that contract, which is paying him upwards of $12 million, 12 and some change per fight. $36 million deal, I believe it was. You know what I mean? So this is pretty much similar to what he's getting already, just for a longer stretch of time, if it does come out true. Remember, I was one of the ones, you know what I mean, maybe 2-3 months back when Zuffa, or even further back when Zuffa started their inaugural fight series. I said, don't be surprised if your favorite fighter goes to Zuffa. And look where we are now. Speculation is heavy. You know what I mean? And not only for Devin Haney, now we're seeing reports of Shitty Cuz, Shakur Stevenson going Z. So yeah, things remain definitely interesting, but like I said, I believe there definitely is some smoke behind this story, and I won't be surprised if we get an announcement within the next week to 2 weeks or so, especially after the next Zuffa card, Shane Mosley versus Sergey Boachuk. Typically within those post conferences, the media scrums, Dana White is asked a lot of questions about the media, a lot of boxing relevant questions. I know that's going to be one of the top questions that Dana White is being asked if the Devin Haney rumors are true. So we'll find out for sure in the next couple weeks.
Excellent points. I'm gonna ask one more question to you, Oddfella, before we bring in K-Rod. But excellent points because yes, there's an event tomorrow with Zufa, and you know in the media scrums, Dana White is going to be answering questions, and I'm sure he's going to get asked, about Devin Haney. So we'll get some answers there. But here's my question: with these Zufa contracts, with these fighters getting signed, do you think these fighters are getting signed based on per year or per fight? Oddfella? You're on mute. He's on mute. I don't know if he heard me. He probably.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
good. I'm good. Sorry, my bad. My
You heard
mute
my
was
question?
stuck. Um,
Okay.
I can't. I'm not too sure about that because I'm still trying to figure out the whole Conor Ben situation. You know what I mean? Was it when they initially reported he got 15 million and for the Regis Prograis fight, and essentially it was for one fight. But then you hear reports and rumblings from Matchroom sources in and around Matchroom that $15 million actually wasn't for one fight. It was for multiple fights, and they had to make it look like that because there might have been some other legalities behind it where they only could announce it as one fight and they couldn't announce it as a multi-year contract or a multi-fight contract. So I can't give you a definitive answer in regards to that. I know the brother Jaleel Hackett has went Z, but I can't give you the specific details in regards to his contract either, if he signed long term based off of years or based off of the amount of fights.
Jalil signed off for years.
Okay, so the D Free has confirmed that. So maybe D Free might be the better person to ask, you know what I mean, in regards to the intricacies of these contracts and whatnot, because yeah, I can only speculate.
Okay, yeah, and then I was asking because based off what I know with Berlanga, it seems it's per fight. So maybe it's just different. It just maybe
Yeah,
depends on the
that
money or yeah.
that would make more sense to me because it's like it's not like boxing is a season annual type of sport like football or basketball. Like a fighter might fight once in a year because he might get injured or whatever the case may be. Dana White says he'll guarantee his fighters at least 3 fights a year, but that's not a guaranteed in a violent sport
Well,
like this. But
well, I think
I yeah, go ahead.
I think I think it comes down to the individual because a guy that has a name, they probably do a fight per fight. But a guy that doesn't really have a name like that, they might do yearly contract because they don't have the name to give them the big time fight. Like Belanga can get a fight guarantee per fight. But Jalil, because Jalil is not a big name like that, they'll put him in a multi-year deal because he got to still build his name up. So I think it's dealing with it's based off the individual more so than it's based off of what the contract is for everybody.
Okay. Let me get K Rod to get in here. He just came up. Salute you, K Rod, for coming up. What you got on?
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think pretty much like the whole deal with Devin Haney going to Zufa is a great idea. The only question is just the opponents. If he can't get the big fights, I guess maybe like the best plan just to stay active would just be fight anybody that's willing to fight him. And if it becomes like a bum bash, that Devin ends up just facing guys that that are willing to fight him, but he's trying to fight the top guys, but they don't want to fight him. I think it's a good step in the right direction just to keep himself like active until some big name actually ends up wanting to fight him. So I say as of right now, I think it's a great move. I think Zuffa is in the right direction. I would like to see Devin try to maybe go after some of the big names. Maybe like 154. Like I'd like to see him and Errol Spence and maybe Jermel Charlo if that could be made on Zuffa. And if that could happen, that would be good. At 147, I'd like to see the Manny Pacquiao fight possibly come to fruition, and maybe the Floyd Mayweather fight, like if that could ever happen. But I think as of right now, Devin Haney, he's on the right path, and he should do what he needs to do in order to keep himself active. So therefore, he can be he can keep himself sharp, in his career if the top guys don't want to fight him.
Hold on, K-Rod, you just said you want to see Devin Haney fight Manny Pacquiao?
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, Manny Pacquiao, he's at least number one in the WBO, and that fight could possibly happen if the WBO ends up mandating that fight.
Trash.
Devin
I
Haney,
mean,
Devin Haney
Ain't
got
nobody
a
really interested in that, bro. You know
Devin
what?
Haney got to fight the dudes who want to fight him though, free.
Yeah, but I'm only
No,
saying
no,
that as a possible option, obviously,
I don't want to see.
I'm just saying that because I just want to see Devin, at least just keep himself busy. That's all. Like if Manny Pacquiao wants to fight him, that's up to him. But granted, I'm gonna favor Devin to possibly knock him out. But
No,
it's like still.
I don't mind nobody staying busy, but for me to say I want, no, I don't want to see Manny Pacquiao versus Devin Haney.
I
No,
think D3, I think you got an echo. Somebody got an echo here.
I think it's K-Rod.
Yeah,
K-Rod,
K-Rod gotta go on mute.
Yeah, go on and come back in.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, no, I don't mind Devin staying busy, but I don't want to see none of these young guys fight no 47-year-old Manny Pacquiao or a 49-year-old Floyd Mayweather. I didn't want to see Mario Barrio fight him.
Have you ever heard of the greatest story ever told, DiFrilio?
Yes, I've heard of greatest story ever told. That ain't got nothing to do with what I'm saying. It still doesn't change my mind.
I'm talking about George Foreman, a 45-year-old fat old George Foreman getting in the ring with a young 30-year-old Michael Moore and knocking him out cold.
No, what does that got to do with the price of tea in China? I said it still ain't gonna change my mind.
I'm just saying, something amazing could happen. You never know. Devin Haney might get his eye closed, and anything can
Because it's a
happen.
great story doesn't mean that I want to see it. I don't want to. No, I want to see fights that I know is competitive. The Mario Barrio fight was not competitive. Mario Barrio just didn't do anything because he respected Manny Pacquiao. No, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
You know what I want to see, D-Free? You know what I want to see, K-Rod? I want to see Devin Haney do something that the rest of these fighters ain't doing right now. Unfortunately, because a lot of let me break it down, because I see a lot of these fighters going over to Zuffa, but they still holding on to the same bad habits and still holding on to the love of the old guard, still holding on to the love of those old sanctioning body belts that have been robbing you for decades with ridiculous sanctioning fees and getting extra residuals from third party lobbying parties by getting their rankings elevated and whatnot. You know what I mean? I need to see a fighter finally, in the bad way of saying it, but bend
Hit him
the
with the
knee.
Riddick Bowe.
I need to see a fighter bend the knee to Zuffa for real. You know what I mean? And say, you know what? Fuck the WBO belt. Fuck the IBF WBC. I'm rocking with the Zuffa belt and the Ring Magazine belt. Specifically the Ring Magazine belt, because that identifies you as the number one, the lineal, right? I need to see a fighter go over there and do that when they get over there, because these fighters that are over there now, they still holding on to the old guard, and it's making it very much confusing.
Devin Haney would be the perfect fighter for that, especially with all the bull crap he had to go through with the WBC, creating the franchise belt
Agreed.
so that Loma and Tio could duck
Yeah.
him. Then the situation with Ryan Garcia, they called Devin Haney a coward, or yeah, they said something along the lines of that because he didn't want to fight Sandor Martin. But then Ryan is out here doing the most. And it's not till he said, I hate N words and I want to dig up George Floyd. They decide to expel him. And then less than a year later, they bring him back. Like Devin Haney will be the perfect fighter to put out there to sell the Zuffa belt and for him to drag his nuts on the sanctioning bodies.
Indeed,
I
I damn sure agree with you.
Yeah, and I agree too, and I disagree with you, Frontline. That the ring belt does hold does hold weight. Sorry, you know what I'm saying. I don't know. Maybe the Zuba belt, okay, it's not really an established title now, but the ring belt to me, holds weight. So I disagree with you, Frontline.
Yeah, I think with the Zuffa belt, can be good, but like I just think at this point, it's just better to just fight the top names, and therefore you can keep yourself to be the lineal, like fighter. And if the sanction bodies don't have to be in the way while having let the Zuffa belt, that's a good step in the right direction.
Okay.
Agree.
That's why I was low key. I was criticizing David Benavidez. Y'all gonna see our pound for pound. Shout out everybody that participated in the US 6 fight pool. But we had constructed a new pound for pound that will be dropping in the coming days. And me personally, Benavidez has risen up in my pound for pound rankings, but I'm very disappointed to hear how he's been coming off somewhat like a diva. You know what I mean? And he's coming off with a new narrative saying, well, I don't need to fight Jai Apataya because he over there at Zuffa. And he's just making Jai Apataya like he's just the Zuffa champion. No, my brother, he's the Ring Magazine champion.
Yes.
No, my brother, he's the #1 in the division. He's the man that beat the man. He's the lineal champion. So if you don't want to fight him, it's not him that's ducking you. It's you that's ducking him, my brother.
Not only
Yeah, I
that,
agree.
he didn't
I
lose.
gotta
He didn't
disagree a
lose.
little bit.
Well, go ahead, go
I,
ahead.
Give me
I
that
got
smoke then. Give me that smoke then, brother.
I gotta disagree a little bit because he didn't say he wouldn't fight Jai Obata. What he said is, I'm not fighting for the Zuffa belt. We could fight, but you're gonna have to come over here. I'm not fighting for no Zuffa belt because he wants to be undisputed. So he wants to fight for the title. But he said, I'm not fighting for Zuffa. So we can fight. I'm just not fighting over there for the Zuffa belt. So I don't think that it's already said he wants to fight Jai Obata. He does wants to fight him. He
But
just
why
don't want to fight
lie?
him on
Why
Zuffa.
lie
Well,
about
I
it, D
feel like
Free? It's a lie when you leave something out. And he left the fact out that Jay Apatai is not only the Zuffa champion, he was the Ring Magazine champion before he was the Zuffa champion. Fact or
Yeah,
fiction?
that's why he said he will fight him. He just not fighting him for the Zuffa belt. He said, I'll fight you. I'm not fighting for the Zuffa belt.
I
So
hear what you say. Go
so
ahead, Free.
I
Go
just
ahead.
I just don't understand why Jai if Jai Obata fight would they go over the
Yeah, I think you're
dude
breaking
that
up.
David
Can y'all
Benavidez?
hear Free?
Yeah, hold on. D Free, you broke up. Start all over. Oh yeah, you breaking up.
He's still breaking up.
Yeah, you're breaking up.
See, yeah, we don't want
But
to hear that
what I'm gonna
Zuffa
say,
slander over here, D Free.
After.
McDonald's Wi-Fi.
D Free, you got to go to a different area. I think we're
Hey,
not
yo,
trying to.
man, they got D Free.
That
They
man,
got D
that man
Free.
went to Zuffa after David Benavidez and Zordo was announced that they was fighting.
But my
Nah,
thing
that
is,
that not
Free.
true.
Why? Like, firstly, I can't tell you who the other two champions are or the other three or two champions are at cruiserweight. And to be very honest, I really don't care if Benavidez fight them. I don't know those guys. They're probably a couple of. I don't want to insult nobody, but they probably not on Jai Opetaya's level. I want to see that Benavidez Opetaya fight because I feel like Opetaya could get him, especially in the early rounds. But I also feel like Benavidez could get him, especially if that fight goes late. I just see it being a great fight, and I just don't think like, and I don't know this man. I'm not in this man's head, but I really don't think that Benavidez holds undisputed to be that high of a thing. I think it's about money, and I think it's about who's the man, who's the pound for pound best. Like that's what I think really matters most. At least that's my perspective as a fan. I just want to see the best fights, and if he can make that Bivol, from what I've been hearing, the Bivol fight has broken
Man,
down because of guaranteed money or whatever the case may be. But if you
man,
can't get the Bivol fight, I want to see that Opetaya fight.
Bivol a
Hey,
duck. That's why the fight ain't going down. That man is a duck.
I heard they
hey,
can't pay him. I heard they can't pay his
No,
number.
he
That's what I
said
heard.
he said the guarantee wasn't a, he said the money ain't enough. That's what he said. He said the money ain't enough. Basically, what he's saying is it's not enough for me to get whooped by David Benavidez. That's not enough money for me to get whooped by David Benavidez.
well,
I don't
we've
know,
been
Free,
through that. We've
because
been through that.
we just
He's
went through
old.
this with Devin Haney. We just went through this with Devin Haney and Rolly, where at least from what was reported, they didn't want to give Devin Haney a guaranteed bag over there
No,
at PBC.
I already told you what it was. They was going to give a guarantee bag to Devin Haney, but Devin Haney wanted to be paid as a promoter.
Hey,
Okay, okay.
yo,
BBO, welcome. What you got
yo,
on
peace to the fam, man. Peace to the fam, man. Peace to the fam. Appreciate it. I
Asiatic man.
appreciate Puerto Rican Tommy letting me up. I've been taking a little break. My account was hacked, but great news is shout out to my man Jamil from YSM Boxing. We soon to come back. Everything is getting straightened out. Shout out to Jamil. He didn't have to do it. Shout out to Greg Hackett, another good brother that's been helping, man. Appreciate him. Definitely shout out my man Marky Dan the historian. He looked out too. So we about to be back real strong, man. And shout out to my man Tommy. And I see y'all still covering for that Mexican pussycat. I see how y'all move. I see how y'all move to go, folks. Now he gonna lose 25 pounds and he's unified champion. Stop it. Stop it. The man is not about to lose no 25 pounds to go fight no Bivol, man. Stop it, man.
Oh, hold
Just,
up. The man
just,
been losing 25 pounds his whole career.
the
He been
man,
losing 25 pounds.
the man's a eunuch, man. Like Jesse Jackson said, I wish somebody would chop his nuts off, man, because this dude ain't got no
Oh,
nuts, bro.
Whoa.
This brother
hold
need
on. You
his
said,
nuts chopped off.
hold on, BBO. Didn't you say David Benavidez walk around at 200 pounds?
He do.
Okay, so he was losing 25 pounds the entire time he was fighting that light heavyweight, wasn't he?
He was, but that's now you unified
What are you
champion.
what are you talking about?
What? And now here go Free moving the goalposts. I see
Oh,
they
no,
scared of Joe overtime.
saying
They
exactly what
scared
you
of me.
said. You said the man wasn't going to lose 25 pounds to fight Bivol. The man's been losing 25 pounds the entire time he's been at
Well,
75.
it's interesting though, Free, because
Hey, but
Benavidez
shout
threw
out to
out
Yes Indeed
threw out a
Boxes.
catchweight though.
Hold on, Mark. Because
Hey,
last
shout
time I
out to
checked,
Yes Indeed Boxes. She said BVO always on some rah note. I just try to tell the truth, man. I just try to
last
tell the
time I
truth.
checked, okay, well, here's some truth for you. The last time I checked, after the fight, David Benavidez said, I'm a champion at 75 and I'm a unified champion at cruiserweight. I want to defend both my titles. I will fight at 75 and cruiserweight.
Hey, what my grandmother used to say all the time, it sound good, might even make you feel good, but that's not
Tell me where
happening.
he lied. Tell me when he lied. When did
He
David
he
Benavidez
he
lie?
hasn't lied. He hasn't lied. I'm not
Okay, so
accusing him
what
of
are you
that.
talking about then? So
All I'm
what are you
saying is
talking about?
I just say this. I don't think it's realistic. If you are the cruiserweight champion, they're talking about him fighting Bivol on some Roy Jones, James Tony. I don't know if you remember those kids. He told me he one of them type of kids that they said could go up to heavyweight and become champion. I think it's a good chance. I think it's a good chance, but I mean defend your crown against Ja Overtime. Don't run from the Aussie, man. Please don't do that. You
He
know.
ain't running. He said we can fight. You just got to come over
This you
here.
know what this remind me when everybody was scared to fight a kid named David Tool. You're probably too young to know who David Tool was. It was the same way with
All right,
David Tool.
let me ask you this, BVO. Since you wanna take up for Ja Obata, let me ask you this: who's the A side, David Benavidez or Ja Obata?
It's definitely Benavidez.
Okay, so David Benavidez is the A side. If David Benavidez is the A side, then why Ja Overtime can't come over to PBC and make the fight, or come to Ring and make the fight? Because David said, "I will fight you, just not on Zuffa."
I'm gonna just say this, and it's gonna sound like an excuse. All I know is from the little interactions we had. I got to talk to his manager. Ja Overtime could not get a promoter to promote him. He really had no other choice but to go to Zuffa. He's not like everybody else. He's from Australia. He had no other choice. It was at his last 2 fights. People thought it was with Matchroom. No, he paid the money for him on some Keith Cologne stuff. We paid for the opponent, paid for the fight. So all I'm saying is I can't blame Ja for signing that deal. He had no other choice. Some of us
So
from the
can
ghetto
Whole
understand. Sometimes we
facts.
gotta make decisions that you don't always want to make. That's all.
Whole
so
facts.
can
And
so can, can
then to turn around and have Eddie Hearn throw you under the bus talking about, yo, I wasn't making no money off of Ja Abataye. He couldn't sell.
hey, he
You couldn't
probably could.
you couldn't
Probably
get
could
him the
sell.
opponents, Eddie.
It
You
don't
couldn't
even
make those
fight at
unifications. He
he
been waiting
fight at a
around
weight
for
class
years for
nobody there.
unifications.
He fought at a weight class that don't nobody care about. Don't nobody know anybody at that weight class
Oh, but now
except
you
for
care
Zoro.
about it because El
No,
Monstro's there, huh?
you're not.
Yeah, you see what? Yeah,
You're,
D free, not
you're not listening. You're not listening. You're talking. You're not listening. There's nobody at the weight class except for Ja Obatai and Zordo. That's the only people that's at the weight class. Nobody else is at that weight class.
I beg to differ,
So,
my brother. I mean, nobody. It's not a glamour weight class, but there is some other fighters that are interesting fights at the weight class. Chris Billy and
so,
Smith, Ryan Rizicki. You know what I mean? We just
Richard
seen him in
Reactor.
Ja Apataye in there with Brandon
so,
Glenn, who gave him a good fight. You know what I mean? There is guys at the weight class. We have the WBC champion, Noel McCallion,
Can
who's
any of those
a
guys
guy
fill
that
up
just
a high school
watched, in
gymnasium?
my opinion, he watched Badu Jack twice. You know what I mean? So we
how
can't sleep on him and say, oh, there ain't nobody there. Because, yeah,
Can
there's
any
fighters
of
there.
those
We just got
guys
to
put
open up
100
our eyes
people
so
in
and
a
look.
community center?
Yeah, but
when I say
Marky Dan, chill. But Marky Dan, but what everybody talks about, when Devin Haney was undisputed, right? So what's the difference with
I don't
Jai
hear you.
Albertaya wanting to be undisputed, fighting? He's a champion. He's got a belt. So let him go and capture the belt.
You mean Benavidez?
No, Apataya wants to unify. He wants to be undisputed.
Well,
He was
that's not
trying to
going.
get those fights.
But that's not
that,
really likely anymore now that he's with Zuffa, though, Tommy.
well,
Because
I
he
mean, we
literally
already
got
know
stripped of the
Dana
IBF.
White don't care about the sanctioning bodies. So we already know anybody that goes over to Zuffa, they're gonna eventually lose their title because Dana White already said
There
he
you
don't
go.
recognize none of the sanctioning bodies. So if you wants to be undisputed, you won't be undisputed under Zuffa because he don't recognize any of the sanctioning bodies.
Yeah, exactly, Tommy. So, I mean, which one do you want? Do you want guaranteed bread or do you want to be undisputed?
Well, that's the discussion
Dial
they're
Batai
having.
went for the bread. I'm not mad at him.
I think people are more leaning to making the best fights. I mean, bread is one thing, right? Because we're not getting any of that money. The fighters are. So we got to be happy for the fighters getting whatever bread they're getting, And if it's good money, it's good money. You know what I'm saying? What we want to see is the fights. But I think the discussion is that do we want to see good fights or we want to see unifications? You know what I'm saying? Or we want to see undisputed. What is it? You know what I'm saying? I think that's the debate.
I want to see great fights, and I don't think the belt. I don't think if the Zuffa belt is on the
I
line, I
mean,
don't think that should matter.
now, but see, this is the argument that I've been telling y'all for what 2 years now. The belts don't matter. It only matter to the fighters. They don't matter. They don't matter to the fan. Marky just said it. I don't
I
care
give you
about
that.
I don't care about the belts. I just want to see great fights. I've been telling y'all that the belts don't matter to the fans. They matter to the
Ricky
fighters
Diggy.
that wants them. The fighter that wants them, that's who they matter to. That's what they matter
I
to.
give you that, Free. I give you that. I used to argue against that, but at this point, now that we have a competing industry in Zuffa
But
and
see,
the UBOs coming in, I
that's
don't care about these belts, especially how corrupt they are.
and see this is the problem that I have with people going over to Zuffa. You can't say you want these fights and then you go sign to Zuffa when you know that it's going to be that much harder for you to get the fights. It's going to be that much harder. David Benavidez literally said, I don't know why he signed over to Zuffa. We could have made the fight right after this one. He literally signed to Zuffa after David announced that he was fighting Zordo.
Zerto too. Zerto agreed to fight him, and so did Noel McCallion before
No,
he
the
went
man,
to
the
Zuffa.
man, they made the announcement in November that David was fighting Zordo. Ja Obertai signed in January with Zuffa. He signed in January. So he literally either one or two things. He didn't want to fight with David Benavidez, or he was that hard up on money that he needed to find somebody to get some money in his pocket. One of the two.
I felt like he just got
It could
frustrated
be
because he had been relegated to fight
it could be
mandatory.
exactly like you said. But salute to Shawalia, Freaky Deaky.
Go ahead,
Shawalia. How you
Shawa.
doing, Shawalia?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just feel like he was
Yeah.
frustrated. But
I
the
hear
thing
Shaw.
is, if even in your frustration, he had been. I had talked about this on that live before because I talked smack about Zerto ducking him. Zerto acting like he didn't know Jai existed, which is clearly a lie. But the man said he'd fight you. David said he'd fight you, and so did Noel. And if we all remember, who showed up to the first Zuffa fight and was sitting there with Jai? Noel. So that's on Jai. I mean, I feel bad for him, but you made a bad decision in my mind.
Yeah. I mean, I see Champ say if David don't fight Bivol, who do we want to fight? I want him to fight Ja Obertai, but if Ja Obertai is not willing to leave Zuffa and come over to Ring or PBC to make the fight, then David Benavidez go fight the other champion, become unify those belts and get all three belts, and you only got one more belt left to get.
Jai's on lockdown. He ain't going nowhere.
Let me ask you while you're up here, Shawa. Let me get your opinion on this because we're still on this first topic. But what is your opinion of this? Let's just put it this way. Let's talk about the tweet that Bill Haney said, because it's basically what Bill Haney said with the $100 million deal with Devin Haney.
I think it's promotion. I think with Devin and with Shakur, until they make an official announcement, I really don't have no thoughts about it, to be honest. I mean, the amount of money I think is outrageous, but at the end of the day, if they're willing to pay Devin that money, then get your money, man. So I don't know. Other than that, I don't know. I just feel like it's been a lot of talking, and sometimes that stuff doesn't come to fruition. So I'm just waiting to see, waiting for the other shoe to fall. Let's find out if any of it's true.
Okay, and that's pretty much my stance on it. So we will end this first topic, but that's pretty much my stance. I think everybody here sort of agrees as well. I think we'll be happy for him. I think it's a little bit ridiculous, but I just think I don't think it's far fetched based off what I know what another person signed to Zuffa got. Let's put it that way. So, but we just don't know the details. We don't know if it's true. I think we'll find out more news tomorrow. So shout out to I think it was D-Free or Oddfella that said that, tomorrow Zuffa event. There's a nice little Zuffa card tomorrow. And I'm sure Dana's going to be asked that question. I mean, any good media journalist would ask that question. So I'm assuming somebody is going to ask the question, and we'll see what and hear what Dana has to say, and we'll get more substance to it. So,
fly me out to the daggone fight. I ask them the question why the fight is going on.
That's the thing, right? Some of these media guys don't ask the right questions, but we'll see. We'll see what's up, and we'll see what
guys.
Who
Dana
are
White
the ain't scared.
Men?
Huh?
I know why they scared to cuss somebody out and throw you up out of there.
Yeah, I think he has specified media people up in there. I don't think just anybody gets in because he don't like just any old question.
He removed the guys like Ariel Helwani a long
exactly,
time
Marky.
ago.
Marky, Marky, it's the way you said. There's a way to say it and you not come across rude and obnoxious. All you gotta do is say, hey, Dana White, we saw that Bill Haney tweeted out that Devin Haney got $100 million deal. Is it any truth to that? He's going to either say yes or no, or I'm not going to respond on that right now. That's
exactly. He'd say that.
He'll probably say, "We'll see."
He might beat around it.
Catchphrase.
He might beat around it and say, "We've been in talks. We've been communicating, and nothing is guaranteed yet."
We'll
he may beat around it too, but somebody has to bring it up. So I mean, hopefully they do. If they don't, that's a travesty within itself. So
yeah, they got to Shakur too, because the names alone. People want to know.
A 50 fight deal.
knowing Dana White, he might come out. Dana White usually don't have no cut cards. He might come out and say, "Man, that's a bold-faced lie. Ain't nobody say no shit like that."
Yeah, that's true. He might come out and do that, and that would kill everything. That would. I mean, I wonder how you backtrack from that, and from the guy that loves to repost what other people say and opinions, and then talk about media. I want to know what he's going to react to it. He'll probably talk about how racist Dana White is. Like, he'll bring that up. I'm sure they'll spin it. He'll spin it some way. But
Dana
that
White
would be pretty funny if he said
legendary rants, Tommy.
Yeah, that would be pretty funny.
If he were to take off on Bill, I would die.
It would be hilarious. It would be great. I mean, it wouldn't be great, but it would be funny. It would be funny.
If you watch UFC, you done seen Dana White come out of current a few times. That man Dana White would say, "Man, what are you talking about? I ain't nobody say nothing like that."
What if he goes
got that information from?
He goes, "That man is crazy. He is insane. He is insane. We've never spoken to that man ever." What if
I don't know where he got that from. I haven't even spoke to that man. I don't know where he got that from.
Yo, I think everybody's going to be watching Zuffa just to hear what's going to be said afterwards. I think that's what everybody's going to watch this card tomorrow for, to hear what Dana's going to say in the post fight. Oh
no, we're gonna watch it because we love boxing.
I want to see that. I want to see that both fight too. I want to see that both fight.
I'm gonna tell y'all how good Zuffa is doing. Their main event is a PBC undercard.
But it's a good fight. I understand.
Get him, D3. Get him.
The fights have been good.
Dog, that's a PBC undercard, but that's their main event. It's a good fight. We already seen this fight before on the undercard, and Rayo got knocked out.
That's what I'm talking about. I still would love. I ain't gonna lie.
But that was a good fight, even though he got knocked out. Didn't they both get dropped in that fight?
Shane Mosley. I mean, Shane Mosley Jr.
in that fight.
It's pretty washed up.
D3, you sound like a hater right now. I just want you to know you sound like a hater.
I ain't mad at D3
though. I'm just being honest. That was
being honest, bro. Wow. That's your description of honesty.
No, you can take it one of two ways. You can take it as it's a good fight and that's a main event fight, or you could take it as PBC has so many good fights that was their undercard. You can take it one of two ways.
I think your expectations of what the Zuffa boxing series is way too high.
No,
let me educate you a little bit. You know what I mean? Let Captain Zuffa educate you on the plan. You know what I mean? Because I think I don't think you realize that the Zuffa has in store is 2 tiers of boxing. So there'll be the Zuffa series, what you see, the Z1, the Z2, you know what I mean? And you'll get the PBC undercard fighters, you know what I mean? The top ranked throwaways, the matchroom left alones. You'll get that, you know what I mean?
Truck drivers. The man can't
Yo, stop it, bro. Ain't nobody talking about no truck drivers. You know what I mean? Because once again, Brandon Lee ain't no truck driver. You know what I mean? Brandon Lee's an undefeated welterweight contender. You know what I mean? That should be getting some shine out here. And maybe with this Zuffa platform, he will get some extra shine. He's on the undercard. You know what I mean? He's part of what you could call the main card. So that whole card is a decent card. Maybe the main event, Shane Mosley Jr. against Sergey Boachuk is not a Saturday Night Live type material. But this is not what Zuffa boxing is for. Once again, that's the lower tier of Zuffa boxing. Then you got the upper tier of Zuffa boxing, which y'all keep on forgetting. When you're going over to Zuffa, and if Jai Apataya has a fight, if they're trying to make a fight like Benavidez, do you think for 1 second Dana White and TKO and Sella and all the motherfuckers over there are gonna have that on Zuffa Boxing on Paramount just to have it at the Apex Theater. Nah, nigga, it's gonna be a Ring Magazine event inside of some type of big arena or a big stadium. Open your eyes. You see what they just did because the English muffins over there thought the same thing that you was
Whoa.
thinking. Oh, nah, they ain't gonna take over. They ain't gonna do nothing. Well, Zuffa Boxing is now landing in the UK. Zuffa Boxing has came out of the Apex Theater in Las Vegas and now is doing a stadium fight over there in the UK. Chris Billiam Smith against the Canadian star Ryan Rizicki in a cruiserweight fight that will probably be the mandatory for Jai Apatai's next matchup. You know what I mean?
Jai didn't even want to fight Rizicki on the 4-belt side, though. And nobody knows about Rizicki. Nobody really
Queen,
cares.
stop it. Queen, stop it. You're missing the point. You're missing the point. You're missing the point. Because y'all people talking about, they doing small time shows and not seeing that they just went international. You're not talking about the fact that they got deals with Paramount, Sky Sports in the UK, and as well Netflix. So when you're dealing, stop it. Let me talk. Let me cook. You know what I mean? You're interrupting me right now. I'm not finished cooking. You know what I mean? So when you have signings like or big fights, it's not going to be on Zuffa Boxing. It's not going to be on that small platform. You're going to see cross promotions and cross networking with Ring Magazine, because Jai Apatai is a Ring Magazine champion, such as if Shakur goes over there, he's a Ring Magazine champion. He ain't gonna go on fighting the Apex. They're gonna put him in a stadium. They're gonna put him on Netflix on a Ring Magazine card, so to speak, depending on the level of opponent and the bigness of the fight. So let's not be limited to think that just because you're over at Zuffa means that you stuck over there and you can't do nothing with on the outside, and you ain't gonna be able to draw over the David Benavidez into a big fight. You ain't gonna be able to draw over the Tank Davis. Nah. There's money outside of the Zuffa Boxing platform. There's 2 tiers, my people.
We will see.
We won't see. We already seen
because
it.
just like Opulent said, Dana is the one.
We already seen the second tier with Conor Ben, because Conor Ben's first fight was not in the Apex Theater. It was in Tottenham Stadium in front of 65,000 people.
Regis was free to do whatever the hell he wanted. But look at David's situation.
It was on the ring, though. It was on the Riyadh, wasn't it?
I just don't think it's going
to be a Riyadh season card. That wasn't a Zuffa card. That was a Riyadh season card.
But they partners.
But they partners,
though.
That's what I see.
So they're partners no more. But let me just say this. Talking about? That's what I said. Don't you know Zuffa is partnered with Riyadh Season, Sailor Entertainment, TKO, WWE, Nick Khan.
Absolutely. I hear you on all that. Let me just say this. I think that Zuffa is going to take Zuffa. I think it's just like Turkey said. He wants to take over. I think he's brought in a guy like Dana White who's taken over his own combat sports industry. I just think it's going to take some time for them to build a roster and to build a credibility up and to get some fighters over there. They're trying to secure the USA Boxing Tournament, the media rights to that with Paramount Plus. So they can have their own farming system. It's going to take some time before they get to a model like the UFC where you have legitimate and credible top 15 rankings that people respect. And then you have a champion that people actually respect, that people don't laugh when they hear the Zuffa champion. But I don't think that's going to be this year. I don't think that's going to happen this year. No. That's going to take some time.
So here's my question.
Hold on. But they got they got resources and money on their side, Shawaliyah. So that means they got time on their side.
Look, I told y'all,
especially if
I understand what Art is saying, but I still think y'all some of it is a little reachy. But hey, whatever.
It ain't reachy when you got that
I think
bread,
that's the question that I have. And I got faith that time, like I would say, time will tell, because if they're putting all this money into these fighters, I think they are going to be open to do cross promotions, in the future. And that's like a question that Opulent was putting up in there, and that's what I want to see. Is Dana going to work with other promotions to put on big fights? And I think he would. I think they would do that.
Well, clearly, because Dana's already flip-flop on what he said he wasn't going to do in the first place, right? So he's probably open to it, but we just don't know that yet. So that's why I say
your boy Oscar De La Hoya is flip-flopping what he's going to say.
I ain't never said nothing good about Oscar.
We can get the Conor Ryan Garcia fight done. Yo, what happened to the Muhammad Ali revival? That ain't shit. What happened to that, bro?
Not only that, what happened to Oscar saying he didn't want to take the Saudi bread because it was bad for the American market? Then what he do? He took the Saudi bread.
Hey, I ain't never said nothing favorite. No, y'all act like I be champion Oscar. I cannot stand him.
No, I don't think you say that.
On Zuffa. You drag your foot on Zuffa.
I'm a drag more on Zuffa.
Listen, let me just bring this up real quick. Somebody brought up this card. Like, it's only 3 fights already. I think it's a good. I know, like, D3 was. I think D3 brought it up. Yeah, Valenzuela and De Los Santos. Yeah, it could be an undercard on a PBC, right? But Kane Sandoval against Brandon Lee. That's a really good fight. Kane Sandoval is no bum. He's good, and Brandon Lee has not been fighting. He's been out of action for a while. So anything can happen in that fight. It's a good fight. And then my guy Omar Trinidad is on the card too, fighting this guy from the Philippines who's pretty tough. So
Brandon Lee had a fight recently. You sure? He fought. Yeah, he fought a couple of months ago. I watched him fight.
No, he hasn't fought since last year. I was at the fight that he was. His last fight. I was at his last fight. It was in New Jersey.
I'm looking at it.
Hold on. Last year, do you realize we're only in the 5th month of this year?
Yeah, but it was in June of last year.
It's been a literal year.
Bro, it's in June of last year, bro.
No,
I was at the fight. D3. I was at the fight because
11 months is not a long time.
But that's
ain't
a
even
year,
11
bro.
months.
It's still
The last time he fought was July of 2024 at the
and I think it was like a 10th 8th rounder. It wasn't even a 10th rounder, right?
He fought Elias Araujo.
Yeah, it was in the Prudential Center.
Yeah, 6/21/25. So it's been a year.
That was under the Jahai Tucker fight. I was there.
Boxrec don't even got that.
It was in the Jahai Tucker fight. Jahai Tucker was the main event, I think. Or Vito, I think. No, Vito was the main event of that fight.
You're right, Shabalaya. You're right, Shabalaya.
I was there at the Prudential Center. That was in June. That's a long time. I mean, all right, man. But either way, like I said, what I'm trying to say is Brandon Lee hasn't been active, right? I know he's undefeated, and he's fighting a guy that has been active in Kane Sandoval, coming off his first loss and his first fight at 147 because he's.
You think he could go to bed,
140 pounder. That's a good fight.
You think he could go to bed, Tommy? You think he could go to bed, Chop Cheesy?
One of them may go to bed. But I'm just saying that's a good card, man. We can't, to me, it's a good card. And that's only 3 fights already listed. So either way, let's move on to another topic. I wanted to play this real quick on Boots. Let me just play this real quick. This is just a reaction to Boots' interview. Who just dropped off? Who's that? Oh, D3. It's probably his connection. He'll be back. But let me know what you guys think of this real quick, because a lot of people were killing Boots for this. Hold on.
That's the reason why they saying names like they matching you up with Crawford. They're not matching anybody else unless they're great with Crawford. You showing us you can switch hit and all of that and do it great from both sides. And I guess that's probably why Canelo welcomed you in the camp for when he was going to fight Crawford. But how did that come out? Did you guys call them? Or?
Well, him and my brother go way back. My brother was in.
That's right.
It was in camp with when he fought Mosley, and I think he was in camp for him when he fought Gomez, Alfonso Gomez.
Alfonso Gomez.
Yeah, so he was in camp with him twice, and him and my brother got a great relationship. I'm like, man, great relationship. So I'm like, might as well go out there and get in some shape. And I was getting ready for my fight, and that was my first fight moving up. So why not spar? Canelo,
Was there a little bit in you that says, you know what, let me get him ready to fight this guy since he didn't fight me?
No, see, everybody think I was on that. My whole thing was that was for me. That was for me to get in shape. me to get away from Philly. You know, I always do camp in Philly. That was like a little thing for myself. And I was out there enjoying myself. I was fishing. I never fished before. My brother was teaching me how to fish. Yeah, I was fishing. We was on a whole bunch of stuff out there. We was enjoying ourselves. And we stayed in like it was an Airbnb, but it was like a little cabin. It was something different.
Time, yeah.
So it was like clear. I had a clear mind, you know, when going out there, and I really enjoyed myself.
Yeah, people think you had an agenda or something
people be weird.
People who was bringing race into it too. Why you ain't going with the, black dudes?
That's true. I forgot they said that.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
People weird. You know,
when your brother was in camp with Canelo, you were a young boy, right?
Yeah.
Like super young. Were you ever in those camps, or you never went to any of those?
No, I never went to none of those camps, but I seen, when my brother was on. I think they had a 24/7 for Fonzo and Shane Mosley. So he was in the 24/7. So I was able to see it, and I was on the phone with him, talking to him and things like that. And it was like dope because he sparred my brother, and that was probably maybe 16 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, something like that.
But at that point, you already knew this was what you were going to do in boxing, right? Because it started real young.
Yeah, I've been boxing all my life.
Your whole life.
So, so I wanted to point this out. I want to know what people thought of what, Boots said in this interview. I mean, he was getting crucified for working with Canelo before Crawford and Canelo. A lot of people coming out here that he's doing that in spite, and how could this guy help the Mexican and all of this and all of that. I don't want to get into too much detail. You guys know where I'm going. And then what I want to do on the flip side is that these same people are now rooting for Boots. Deep down, they're hoping Boots lose against Xander, but they're rooting for Boots because they want to be on some sort of, let's say, code for him to win. So I want to know what everybody's opinion on this, because he kind of put it to bed. We knew that he had a relationship with Canelo based off his brothers and stuff, but a lot of people didn't want to point that out. But I'll lead off with Shawa. Shawa, you haven't been, you just got up here, so I'll let you go first. What's your opinion on this?
It hasn't changed. First, let me say this interview was good. It was a good interview.
Really good.
Second, I said this when that shit happened. Look, Farah and Pooh sparred with Canelo, like he said, right? So at the end of the day, I didn't have no problem, because I even said he's probably getting paid some decent money to be in that camp. Like, why are y'all mad that this man want to get paid and have that experience to spar with freaking Canelo? So I didn't have no issue with it. Get your money, Boots, and don't worry about these people. Why would he go over there and help Bud, and they don't even get along too? Like, it was so many things that I said, and I still feel I'm not mad about it.
Okay. Did everybody was able to hear the audio, or was it because I first said he couldn't hear it? Was you guys able to hear it when I played it?
I heard it. I heard it.
Okay, and then anybody in the chat, were you guys able to hear it? I thought I did it correctly.
They probably heard it. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe it should be on his. I just want to make sure that it wasn't playing and it was mute the whole time. But
I'll just say this, Chop.
Go ahead.
I miss the days when people didn't talk about sparring. I miss the days when, like, I feel like this is kind of like a consequence of new media, where everything is posted on social media right now. I remember back in the days when Floyd had like his all access, where he wouldn't give you an entire look at his camp and every fighter that was in his camp necessarily helping him spar, getting them good work. Now in today's new media, guys are taking pictures and it's getting leaked to the media or whatever the case may be. And now people have opinions, but I really don't care. Like, I didn't care when I heard, like, it made sense to me that he would get a guy like Boots Ennis, a guy coming from welterweight who has a little bit of size on him, has long arms, who's a switch hitter, can go from southpaw to orthodox. To me, like, that's a sound person to bring into your camp to help you get work against probably one of the greatest switch hitters we've seen since Marvin Hagler in Bud Crawford. So I really just didn't get all the hoopla around it. I really didn't get it. But let me not say I didn't get it, because I know exactly what you're talking about when you say dudes being on code and feeling like he went against code or whatever. But I just feel like that's stupid.
And I agree with you. And then the reason I bring this up is because, you know, some of those channels and some of those people, they get at me, right? And you know, so I figured I want to get other people's opinion, right, before I give mine. So I mean, they come at me for my opinion, and it's like it's crazy. It's just to me, it's just crazy. I don't know. I don't know
If
what
we
else to
if we
say.
were
I
back in
like.
the if we were back in the 1930s, or like if Joe Louis was getting ready to fight Max Schmeling from Germany, and then a black fighter went over to help Max Schmeling, that might be something different.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
don't feel
Yeah.
like we're in those type of times no more. Just
No,
respect.
it's the same, and it's like you said before. Back then, sparring was more of like a, you know, it was more rumors than anything. It was a more he said she said, and it was better that way. You know, it was just rumors more or less. You know what I'm saying? And what happened in
Yeah.
the gym. No, there was no tapes, no people going out and, you know, trying to kill people, because at the end of the day, sparring is more of helping each other out. It's not an actual fight. But I'll let D Free go before I go on this.
The problem with this is the people that's commenting and was going at Jerome Business, most of these guys never boxed before. Because when you box and you got a fight coming up, you go out and try to get somebody to spar with you that can imitate your opponent. You want to get the different look that your opponent might give you. And what guy do everybody compare Jerome Business to? Bud Crawford. He got the same height, same arm reach. He switch hit. He might be a little faster than Bud. So why not? Second of all, y'all mad that he went over there and helped out Canelo, but like Shawa said, he got paid to do that.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't just go over there and gave him help for no apparent reason. He got paid to do that. But these same people, I didn't hear none of them complaining about Shakur, Keyshawn, and all those guys helping Jake Paul get ready for Tank Davis.
Yeah. No, none
I
of
hear
them.
none of them get
None of them
on
at all.
Keyshawn and them.
None
Get
of them at
on
all.
those guys for helping Tank Davis. And
No.
Jake Paul is a white guy. Tank Davis is a black guy. So,
Yeah.
like I said, most of these guys, they never boxed before because, like I said, when you box and you got a fight coming up, you go try to find somebody that can imitate your opponent, to give you different looks that your opponent might give you so you can prepare for it. And what better person to get than somebody that always compared to Bud Crawford, which is Jerome Business. So it wasn't no problem for me. I was like, that was a smart move on Canelo Alvarez. I don't think it's going to help him, but it's a smart move.
No, absolutely.
I had one more thing that I said back then that I'm going to reiterate today. Why didn't they have a problem with Speedy and his brother going over there? Nobody even said nothing about them. They was in their camp. He's black. They just wanted to hate on Boots. It was crazy.
Well, let's just call it for what it is. Let's just throw it out there. It's the Devin Haney effect, right? If you was on that list, then you were getting hated on no matter what. You was getting hated on, or in other words, let's change the word from hate. You were getting criticized for anything you did. Anything you did that wouldn't go with the Devin Haney, agenda. Let's just say, I'm not going to say narrative, with the Devin Haney agenda. So if you was on that list, you got criticized for anything you said or anything you did, no matter what it was. They would find a reason to kind of, bring you down, or to criticize you, or, make the guy, look or sound bad, right? And in this case, Boots was part of that, because Boots was put on the Devin Haney list. And here's the next question that I'm going to bring up. Did Boots duck Devin Haney like people were saying? He ducked Devin Haney because he was on the list, because he also answers that in this interview as well. You know what I'm saying? And I just think that some of these content creators are just out of pocket. And listen, I don't mind people giving their opinions and breaking it down and just speaking on, what they feel is right or what they feel is wrong. I have no problem with that. My problem is when these same content creators will go up there while I'm in the chat or make subliminals, about me or other people, as to say that, because we don't agree with what you're saying. That's my problem. That is my biggest problem. You know what I'm saying? So, like, first of all, I think Boots is a phenomenal fighter with a not a big, strong resume. I think he's got a big fight with Xander coming up. I'm not rooted for Boots, but I feel like Boots is going to win. I feel like Boots is going to win easy, in my opinion. I'm going to
Jack
root
is
for Xander,
nuts on him.
right? But listen, let me finish. I'm going to root for Xander because I like Xander, right? But I'm not going to take anything away from Boots, and I'm not going to do anything to criticize his character. And I feel like a lot of people in this, YouTube space and these, content creators, they like diminishing and killing people's character. And I think it's fucked up. And at the same time, if we go against those opinions, then they want to go and criticize our character like they know who the fuck we are. Listen, at the end of the day, you don't know who I am. You don't know, what I've been through. You don't know D Free. You don't know Shower. You don't know Marky Dan. And you especially don't know these fighters and where they come from. So like that's the whole point of me doing these, kind of reactions and asking these questions, because it's a lot of inconsistencies. And like I said, it's cool as a content creator. Do your thing. But when you try to criticize somebody's character, I got a problem with that. And when they try to kill Boots' character for him helping out Canelo without knowing all the facts, I got a problem with that. And then now with the interview being said, nobody can come up and say, say different, and they're gonna still double down on it and say, "Oh no, you could have, you still went over there. You're a sellout for that." You know what I'm saying? And I think that's messed up because whenever you kill somebody's character, then you put eyes on it, and then other people follow along. That's messed up. You know what I'm saying? And it's a negative. It's negative. It's a negative. What is it? Negative publicity. You feel me? And I just think it's fucked up in general, because this is a sport that we're trying to build up. It's a dying sport that we love, and we're trying to build it up and not bring it down. And when you do this, you bring down the sport as well. So that's my take on it.
Well, I want to answer your initial question and
Go
say,
ahead.
but first let me say, shame on the people that follow along, because you ain't got a damn mind of your own. Now, if you just agree with what someone is saying, fine. But a lot of people are led in this community, and for that reason, we get a lot of that. Maybe that's why the damn sport's dying, because people don't have a damn brain of their own. But no, I don't think that anybody ducked anybody. I think they just could not agree to the terms of the weight. Boots was going up and didn't want to come all the way down to no freaking 47. And we know for a fact that at the time, Haney was moving up and he didn't want to go above where he hadn't been yet. So, like, I don't see where duck talk even came into play there. Like, it's just something that was not agreed upon.
Hey, I'm gonna say this. I don't even think it was the weight situation, because according to Boots, he got a phone call and they asked him, it's in the interview, they asked him, will you fight Devin Haney at 52? He said yes.
Yeah, that's facts.
He said yes. So he got the call at 52. It wasn't him that brought up 52. They asked him, will you fight Devin at 52? He said yes. So
yeah,
where's the duck come from?
Yeah, it just wasn't agreed upon. That's all.
I just think people are unrealistic.
What I'll say though, I think a lot of people, or let me just say, I got a good friend. His name is Truth Zone. He runs his own. Well, yeah, but there he is. He runs his own panel, and he's highly critical of Boots. And one of the things he brings up a lot is that Bud Crawford interview on what's the name of those dudes from Philly? Gillian Wallow.
Gillian Wallow.
When Bud pretty much had Boots in a bad position and Boots was stuttering, didn't know what to say after he essentially lied and said, I've been trying to get a fight with you for years. And Bozy Ennis was literally on there like 5 minutes before saying, no, we know we're gonna get the fight with you eventually. They've been telling us to say X, Y, and Z, but we're not gonna do that. We respect you, champ. So I feel like a lot of people feel like Boots' credibility in that way is shot. And then they feel like, okay, well, he's 29, 28 years old, 30 and 0, and who's he fought? And X, Y, and Z and stuff like that. Why he ain't fight this dude? And they don't give him like the benefit of the doubt in terms of like the context of when he was coming up, because Sean Porter out his mouth said he wouldn't fight Boots Ennis. Ugas was not gonna fight Boots Ennis. and PBC was focused on getting Earl Spence the belts, and Earl Spence was focused on getting the fight with Bud Crawford. So Boots was kind of iced out, and they don't give him like that benefit of the doubt, and that's one of the frustrating parts to me because
see
I
that
think
whole
Boots is one of the best Boots is one of the top 5 pound for pound fighters in the world to me. In terms of when you talk about you shrink him down to the same weight and whatever, I think Boots will beat most boxers in the entire world, at least the elite ones. So I just think it's a shame.
I'm gonna say this, Marky. With that whole thing with Wale, it was Boots didn't know what to say at that time because we seen an interview with Zab Judah and he said no, Jerome Boots and Bozy, they was on board. We couldn't come to terms of making that fight for Jerome Boots versus Bud. And remember, Zab Judah is the president or was the president at the time of
BLK Prime.
BLK Prime, and he said we couldn't come to terms, and then Bud Crawford got the David Avenesian fight. So Zab Judah said no. Boots and Bozy was on board. They was willing to go, but we couldn't come to terms. And so he said nobody ducked anybody. It's just we couldn't come to terms. And so Bud Crawford got the David Avenesian fight. But remember, when they asked Bud, why are you fighting David Avenesian? Bud also said, well, Boots' name never came up. Because they said, why you didn't fight Virgil or why you didn't fight Boots? He said, those names didn't come up. Well, we know that the names did come up because Zab said, we tried to get you that fight before David Avenesian, but we couldn't come to terms. So both of these guys didn't really know what to say when they was put on the spot because they didn't know if should they say this or should they not say this or whatever have you. So you can find situations where Bud wasn't telling the truth. You can find situations where Boots wasn't telling the truth. But at the end of the day, the one that was actually making the fight, he said, no, they both was on board. We just couldn't come to terms.
Yeah, I hear that. But it just wasn't like the best look for Boots because I don't think it's like you said, he didn't know what to say at the time. And Bud Crawford was coming off more authoritative by saying, nah, you fronting, dude. You fronting. And then Boots was just on the phone stuttering. So then people take they draw conclusions based off of that. But I don't think Boots Anderson's been ducking nobody. If anything, I think it's a lot of dudes been ducking him. And that's why I'm glad Xander has the nuts to step to the plate because I was hearing that Josh Kelly was supposed to fight Boots Ennis after his fight with I can't even think of that Russian's name no more. Yeah, Baccarat. And then now there are people saying they want to go a different way. So it just like to me, this dude gets ducked again and again because he's at least not a cash cow. At least I don't even know if that's the case because I see him pack out arenas all the time. But I don't know. People just don't want to fight him.
Boots has done well on the East Coast.
This kid who has the nuts to do it. Yeah. This 23-year-old who has to go out there and do a man's job.
No, Boots does well on the East Coast. He done well in Philly and done well in Atlantic City, which is pretty much really close to Philly. So it's really convenient for fans from Philadelphia to come to Atlantic City. So and New York, they're like 3 hours away. So a little bit less depending. So I truly feel that Boots is going to have more fans than Xander will. At this fight. I mean, we'll see firsthand when the fight happens.
Wow,
but
you don't think
I think it's going to be 60-40 Boots fans. There'll be a lot of Puerto Rican fans there, but remember, Xander's still building up his name. He hasn't really sold out.
What day is the Puerto Rican parade, Tommy?
Listen. The Puerto Rican Day parade is always the second Sunday of June, so it's not. It's at the end of June. This fight. Second, Xander has only fought in the theater in Madison Square Garden, which holds a capacity up to like 55, maybe 6,000. And they've never really done that, even close to that. The only person that's come close to that that's done that is Keyshawn Davis as a main event. And I think Xander was the co-main, right? So, and then Xander was, I believe, was the co-main to Tio and Josh Taylor, that was in the theater and that didn't sell out. It was a lot of people.
What I say though,
supposed to be a sellout. So what I'm trying to say is Xander's not really a big, he's Puerto Rican and there's going to be a lot of fans, but I don't think he's going to have as many fans as Boots.
I think it'll be 50-50, Tommy. Because remember when Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor fought at the Garden the first time?
Amanda had a gang of them.
That was fit. Yeah, that was split right down the middle.
But that's different. But listen, that's different because the Irish are heavy up here in New York.
Yeah, so
but so are the Ricans. So
no. But I'm talking about the Puerto Rican crowd that's gonna be there. I think it's gonna be 50-50.
You know the two biggest parades in New York City?
I'm about to say
St. Patty's and
St. Patrick's and the Puerto Rican Day Parade. Two biggest parades by far.
Yeah. And so you gotta look at it like this. Not only does Zawambu Sinners live, he's from Philly. Philly is only 2 hours away. But he has a lot of fans that's in New York as well. So he's going to have the Philly people come out. He's going to have the New Yorkers come out. And he got fans in New Jersey too. So he's going to have those guys come out. Yes, Xander's going to have the Puerto Rican fans there, but they're not going to outweigh the African-American fans that's going to be.
You don't think he could get Bad Bunny to promote the fight, D-Free?
No, absolutely. And
Hold on. You said, do I think they're going to Bad Bunny can't promote the fight? Is Bad Bunny promoting the fight?
I'm just saying Xander can make the phone call.
I'm asking you a question.
No, he is not. He is not. No.
Okay, you answered your own question.
I think it's going to be more Philly fans. You're going to see that too. So, Philly fans, they support, and Boots has a good following there, and I think they're going to travel down.
I don't know. The price of gas has been going up, Tommy. Yeah. I don't know.
And also, you got to remember too, there's a lot of Puerto Ricans in Philadelphia that obviously they're going to root for the Puerto Rican, but they're big Boots fans as well. They're going to root for their guy from Philly. So
this man said the price of gas. Do you think most of those people are driving to New York? No, they're going to hop right on the daggone Amtrak or a bus.
Okay, I don't know the logistics of the tri-state area. Okay, fine.
Nah, they might drive. People drive out to New York. People drive out to Philly for fights all the time.
Ride buses in.
Yeah,
some of them will drive, but a lot of people that go to New York, they know the traffic in New York is crazy. They're like, man, I'm not driving.
But on the way back, it's not that bad. It might be 2 hours depending how you're driving. It's not a bad drive.
No, it's not a bad. I'm talking about once you get in New York. I'm talking about in New York.
It's going to cost them a lot because to get parking in the city.
That's what I'm saying. You better off catching an Amtrak and catching an Uber than driving. You got to pay for the toll.
They be taking them buses to the fights and stuff.
Yeah, they could take the bus. But there'll be. I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of Philly fans, a lot of Boots fans in the card.
There's going to be a lot of fans there, but Boots is going to be heavily favored in that crowd. Xander going to have his fair share of fans as well. Yep. But like Tommy said, Xander's only been he's only been in the theater. He hasn't been in the big house as a main attraction. So what was it? His last fight was
in Puerto Rico. That one did well. But that was in Puerto Rico. Yeah, that was in Puerto Rico. It's different. So that was it.
I'm much like you, Tommy. Though I'm rooting for Xander. I'm thinking Xander can win, but I absolutely know Boots can. But just based off film study, I'm just seeing stuff. I'm seeing stuff.
I don't. Yeah.
I think Xander got it, but Boots got strength and he got the power. I'm gonna have to go live. Actually, I ain't been live in months. I'm gonna have.
Yeah, you need to go live. Shaw, what's going on?
I think Xander going to bed, Shawley. I think it'll be late.
He can, without question.
I like Xander Zayas. I've been a huge supporter of Xander Zayas since I first seen him fight on ESPN. But for me to try to come up with any way that he's beat Zawambu Sinners, I just don't see it. I don't think he can outpoint Zawambu Sinners, and I don't think he can knock Zawambu out. So I just don't see it.
Listen,
Yeah, I
and
don't
you
think
got to
he can
also
knock
throw
him.
in the fact that this is Boots' time right now, right? This is his opportunity. There's a big pay-per-view fight, right? It's a big showcase for him, and he's got the right opponent. He's going to get up even more for this fight. So I think and then everybody sees and everybody says how special Boots is, right? The eye test. I think this is the fight where he gets up for, and he shows it. And I think we're going to see something special out of Boots. And I wouldn't be surprised if he stops Xander. And then, I'll be crying on the way home. But,
Same
I
way,
wouldn't be surprised.
I
Let
can
me
see
ask
it
you a
same
question
happening,
though,
but
said
Chop
about
Cheesy.
the same way we said about Shishu. He's gonna put on a statement.
Let me ask you
Yeah.
a question
Because
though, Chop
a lot
Cheesy.
of people, was criticizing Booth and been saying Booth is ducking this person and that person. Booth is going to put on a statement. He's going to go out there and put on a statement and let everybody know this is the reason why I can't get the fight that I want to get.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Let
I
me
can
ask
see
I
how
think
that.
that's what I feel. But we'll see. We got, less than 2 months to go. And we'll see what's up. I don't want to be on too much longer, so I want to do some predictions right now if you guys want to. And thank you, Marky, for that. This guy's like,
Why y'all
Captain
keep
Chop
doing that
Cheesy.
to Tony? Knock it off.
Marky's abusive, man. This AI thing is
Oh
killing me.
yeah.
Captain Pastrami on
Oh
rye.
wait a minute. Look, David Morrell's about to fight y'all. I gotta go.
Who? Oh yeah. So David Morrell. So quick prediction shower. Daniel Dubois or Wardley.
Ole Dubois.
Every time I put my faith in Triple D, let me not say that because I made money with Triple D. Um, I'm gonna be honest. Wardley has improved as far as being able to just box and not be a one trick pony with that damn right hand. But Daniel Dubois does have something to prove. You know what? I can't call it. I can't. I think this could go either way. If Daniel Dubois could jump out there and jump on Wardley quick and not be punk, let his hands go. He can get Wardley out of there early. But Wardley also has the equalizer in the right hand. He could get Daniel out early. Like it could go either way. So no prediction for Miss
No
Shaw.
prediction. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm just
Man,
50
stop being
on
a
this.
fence sitter, freaky dicky. Stop being a fence sitter.
You
Pick
know, I'm
somebody.
usually not. I try not to be, but just based off what I see, man, anything can happen. I can't call it. I really can't.
Mm.
But I'm gonna stick around and listen to who y'all got.
Um, I know who I got because I got a bet going on. Marky Dan,
Awesome.
who you got in this fight? I think we already know who you got.
First off, I just want to say, Ole Dubois. Dubois to the top. I got Daniel Dubois, the man from, the man whose father is from Grenada. He's going to go in there and he's going to put Fabio Wardley to sleep. Something nasty. I think it's going to be a war, but at the end of the day, I think Mr. Dubois, meaning of the wood, I think he's going to go in there and he's going to become a two-time heavyweight world champion. Okay? Dubois Comete, Aceto Salapa, Wardley La Dume. He's going to put him to bed. Something nasty. And it's going to be beautiful. I'm going to be there with my mother. We got family out. I wish I had my flag. I don't even got my flag where I'm at right now. But Dubois is going to do it for the home team. He's going to do it for all his folks down here in the islands that's rooting for him, specifically from Grenada. We love you to death, Dubois, and you're going to do the job. Two-time heavyweight world champion. Yeah. And they robbed him. They robbed my boy of Undisputed. They
Oh my
robbed him
God.
against Usyk. I just wanted to add that. Go ahead.
Stop it.
D free.
I've been going back and forth with these two guys because it's a 50-50 fight. I'm not big on either one of them. But I think what might have sold it for me was the face off the face to face interview. And what I've been noticing with these guys from the UK, the one that's always calm and quiet and laid back, yeah, is usually the one that end up getting stopped. So I'm gonna have to go with Fabio, um, mid round stoppage.
Okay. Well, I got a bet with Mr. BVO. BVO is picking Dubois against who he calls Tan Wilder. He calls Wardley Tan Wilder. I just think that this is going to be a quick fight. Maybe not an easy fight, but he's going to make it look easy in one of these early rounds. I got Fabio Wardley stopping Daniel Dubois in 3 rounds or less. I think it's going to be a statement. I think Dubois came in heavy again, the heaviest he's ever been. He does not. I did not like the way he looked at the weigh-in. I know they're heavyweights. I think Fabio Wardley is going to make a statement, and he is going to stop Dubois early. I wouldn't be surprised if he stops him in the first round. So I got Fabio Wardley early. I'm sorry, Marky Dan. You're gonna feel the way I may feel on June 27th when Xander fights Boots. But that's I'm gonna know what it's gonna feel like. The only difference is you're gonna feel it today, and I'm gonna feel it on June 27th. That's the only difference. So I got Fabio Wardley early, and then BVO, if you're listening,
I'm gonna feel ethnic and national pride. I'm not gonna know what it's gonna feel like. I'm not gonna know what defeat feels like.
I just want BVO to listen to me. I will be in Cleveland for Abdullah Mason, and when we meet up for the fight, you will pay me my winnings, and I want 50 singles, crispy singles. And no, matter of fact, I'm gonna change that. If you give, I want it in person. I want a $50 bill, and I want you to sign it. I want you to sign my $50 bill, and then I'm gonna frame it. I'm not even gonna spend it and say, BVO's money. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I want from you, BVO. When Fabio beats
friendly tan
today, huh?
You want a friendly tan? You want that friendly tan? Friendly tan?
No, it's just me and BVO, man. I'm not doing that friendly 50 with you. So
friendly tan,
I don't like Dubois' energy. At first, I was going with Dubois, but after I saw his energy, I was like, I don't like his energy. I'm going with Fabio, but I'm going back and forth. I think Dubois is a better boxer. I think Fabio has more heart than Dubois. And I'm just going with Fabio. I think his heart and his determination is going to prevail in this fight.
Okay. I see Morrell's started already. Morrell's in the ring. First round's already started with David Morrell. I wanted to touch up on Aleem missing weight a little bit. I was looking forward to this fight with Angelo Leo. I was going to pick Aleem in this fight for the upset just because I was been talking to his trainer, Bones Adams. And they was, I mean, the last time I spoke to him was last week, and they were saying how ready they were. And he said, as long as everything stays the same now, the way they're feeling, that they were going to go in and they were going to be, they were going to win. And then he would finish it off and say, and the new. But
what I will
very, very unprofessional for Aleem. Real quick, very unprofessional, very shocked. He just went to Japan and got an upset victory. He looked great against Nakatano or something. Nakano, I think his name was. He was an undefeated fighter from Japan. Went into Japan, got a good win to earn his title shot and to blow it. It was his first world title opportunity and just blew it. It's a shame to the sport. But a positive side to this is that Angelo Leo is getting his full purse. So that's good news. So, with all that work that he put in to cut weight, ready for the fight, he is going to get paid his full purse. And I thought that was a beautiful thing that they're doing for him. So,
hey, what I saw was that Aleem got to pay Leo. I saw Aleem got to pay Leo.
I didn't know that.
I thought, ain't that the penalty that you gotta get fined, and then that fine money goes to your opponent or the champ?
I don't think he has to pay the purse because obviously
I
think
the fine.
Yeah, no, I think the promotion
where,
they have to pay him.
Yeah, I saw somewhere where Aleem has to pay Aleem $140,000.
Dang.
Damn.
I'm really shocked that Ra'eese missed weight, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
140 big ones?
That's what I forgot where I saw the reports at. And Cam J reported on it earlier today, too. He saw it, too. But I saw the report where Aleem has to pay Leo $140,000.
See, I thought, unless I misread it, I thought that the purse was 147 for Leo. I thought that was his purse.
But that comes from Aleem. That doesn't come from that don't come from Bob Earl. It comes from Aleem. He's the one that missed the weight.
So but Bob, but I don't think see, that doesn't make sense to me, because how Aleem's not going to get paid. We know that, right? Because he's not fighting and he didn't make the weight. And he's going to get fined, but to get fined 147, I don't know about that, because I don't think Angelo Leo's making that much money. You know what I'm saying? As a featherweight, and it wasn't a top ranked card. So it wasn't a top ranked card.
So maybe that's the reason why he got to pay 140,000.
It says Leo will be paid his full purse of $147,000.
Yeah, it doesn't say by who though. I don't think Aleem would have to pay that. I think Aleem has to pay a fine.
I thought like you had to pay like a percentage, like maybe 30%, like something heavy.
Yeah, there might be a fine or something like that, but I don't think he's going to be entitled to pay his purse. No, that doesn't make sense. I think the promotion. I'm
gonna find out where I saw that, and I'm gonna send it to you, Thomas, because
because I'm interested to find out, because that's a lot. I don't think that's how it works, because in most cases, sometimes the fighter doesn't even will get some of the money, because like I mean, this is missed weight, so it's different because obviously I'm professional. But in the fight when Jalil Hackett fought Roman, I know personally that with Jalil Hackett, with him faking the injury, yes, he faked the injury, but with the injury, they Roman didn't get paid his full purse, but they did give him a little bit something.
They give you a portion of your purse, and then the fighter who offended has, like you said, a fee that he has to pay, a fine.
Let me say this though before I get off of here, Chop Cheesy Tom and Fricky Dicky Shawalea and DeFrilio. I put out a call to my auntie Gwen. I ain't spoke to her in a couple of years because she's an OBI woman and she lives in Grenada. And what she has told me is she has seen the omens and Dubois' victory is assured. There's powers at play here that are not going to allow Dubois to lose. I'll just say that. And salute to everybody on the panel. Smash the like button. Subscribe to Democracy Briefing. I'll post the link in the chat. Thank you very much.
That was beautiful, Marky. I appreciate that.
Ride for your people, Marky. Ride for them.
All right, man. I'm gonna end the show. We've been on for a minute. I really appreciate everybody coming through. This was great. I like everybody's perspective. We had a nice back and forth earlier. I appreciate Oddfella for coming on. K-Rod came on for a little bit, and appreciate you, Shaw, and D-Free, of course, for coming on as well. I don't know if and Marky Dan. And even BVO came up here for a little bit as well. So appreciate you guys helping the show.
I'm going to start calling Arthur the Captain Zuffa.
Well, that's what they call him, Captain Zuffa. That's his name.
He is.
What's his other nickname? Dana Black.
Dana Black.
That's he's Dana
extraordinary supporter. All right, TD, thank you for having me up here. I
really appreciate you coming up here and giving us your perspective. I definitely appreciate it.
Thank you. I miss you guys.
And I appreciate the chat for coming through and participating as well. It was a great show. Take a look at the interviews we did. We did some good interviews here this week. El Chucho is fighting tonight. It's on YouTube. I believe it's Universal. I asked Ricardo to let me know. I'm gonna have to watch and replay the interview so I can find out because I asked him that. It's gonna be on YouTube. He's fighting tonight in the Dominican Republic. El Chucho Luis Melendez. Take a look at that. Next Saturday, the 16th. Jan Santana will be on the card as well, and the Keyshawn Davis undercard. So you can check that out on the Zone and Top Rank. So check out the interview as well. It was a great interview with Jan Santana, calling out Shushu, right? So it's a shame because both of my guys, man, I got to pick one, right? I ain't picking nobody, man. I just want to see a good fight. But yeah, so take a look at that if you get a chance, and then stay with us as we got more content on the air. Tales from the B-side looks to be back next Sunday. I believe we got a guest already on hand for next Sunday. He's going to be a heavyweight. That's all I will say. And yeah, I got some more interviews lined up as well this week. I'm just trying to fit in the schedule. So appreciate you guys for coming through. And, enjoy the fights today. Morrell's fighting right now. I'm watching it right now. And, Wardley and Dubois after this, I believe. So take care, everybody. Be safe. And we'll catch you in the next one.